Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
I'm Kelly Thompson, and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Oh, don't you go dragging our good friend Kelly Thompson into this.
You were Captain Marvel for 50 issues.
And if they would have used that run, the movie would have been better.
I know. Oh, that's right, kids. Welcome back to another episode of The Capes and Lunatics. I think we know the Capes and Lunatics. I think we know who's who. I am Phil.
Capes and ampersand.
Joining me, as always, the ever delightful and pleasant Miss Lilith Hellfire.
What's up, guys? We're talking MCU movies, so you know I'm already fired up. So
yeah, you know what side she's on. And, of course, there he is. He's a big fan of cinema and comics, Mr. Tyler Patrick.
Hey, everybody. It's always fun to, refreshing to talk some Marvel, too,
Oh, yeah, true. Usually.
He says with his Superman room behind him.
I can't help what I have. It's just how it is.
All right, kids. We're going to do that. We're going to do the Marvels review. Higher, further, faster. No, this isn't a conversation at Lilith's house. Yes. All right. So, I don't know. Well, I think we know where Lilith stands.
No,
Tyler.
the results may surprise you, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not really. I'm just joking.
I want to hear. Yeah. I want to hear from Tyler first, because again, it's not every day we hear from him about something Marvel. So,
well, I will say this: when the first trailer came out, it looked okay, but kind of confusing, because there wasn't really a definite negative. But Sayla looked interested, and so did Solomon. They both were like, "Oh, that looks like that's cool." I took Solomon to see the first one when it came out. Both the kids watched Miss Marvel with me, and they enjoyed it, and so I think they enjoy going out to the movies. My two biggest issues, let's throw those out right now. My two biggest issues with Miss Marvel, or the Marvels as a film. The first is I thought the villain was garbage. The actress,
that's the MCU.
But the actress, I'd seen her in one other thing. I don't think she had the skill or the presence to really embody this type of villain. Like, I felt it was just very weak. And yes, the MCU does have a problem with their villains. We know this. The other thing was the movie felt like it just kind of started. Like, there was never that moment where I felt like, when you watch a movie, there's always that movie like, now the movie begins, or like, now you're hooked in. It felt like I came in 5 minutes late and like it was already going. Like, we missed the big intro start of the film. It just felt like it just kind of trickled in.
Do you think that's because of the short runtime?
I mean, maybe.
105 minutes. I feel like the ads for the movie were longer. Like, I feel like I sat through more ads than movie.
Felt like it.
It was like an hour and 45 minutes. But the thing was, it didn't feel like it went by as fast as I thought it would at that time. It just, like I said, I kept having that feeling of, okay, I know we're in the movie. Like, because even Sayla at one point was like, we're towards the end, Daddy, because they're fighting the main villain now. And I'm like, I've trained my kids how to see the breaks and like the act changes. Like, I got my, my first grade.
She's like, I don't know what's going on.
Tyler's kids are like, Dad, it's the third act.
Oh, I got my kids trained. Like,
but nothing's happened.
They go into school and they're like, okay, the protagonist is this and the antagonist is this in the story. I'm like, that's right, kids. Drop those words.
I don't know if I bought the writing in this. Yeah, in this movie.
But I mean, this movie, I think more than other MCU movies felt more like, just like Lilith said before we started, content.
Not cinema, content.
Not cinema. Like, I didn't feel like the character development or the scope that you would apply to making a film was applied as much as this just felt like content and didn't feel much different than the stuff I'm getting on Disney Plus. And
rightly so. We have now figured out that they approach their movie making like their shows, and to the detriment of the movie. It feels like almost now. Now that you have that kind of lens, it's like, yeah, no, I see it. We'll just do a reshoot. It's fine. We got more money than God. We'll just do a reshoot if it doesn't work, instead of actually having a thought out story.
It just, the movie, I'd have to watch it again for things, but because so much is digitally altered and background, like my friend and I were talking about Multiverse of Madness and how the scene with like the Illuminati, I'm like, that's a COVID scene, and that's what I called it, because I'm like, you can tell those actors are not there. They were all shot separately, then placed, in a scene together. And I'm like, sometimes you watch a film and you can tell that at this time period, but then like you feel like this movie was shot how long ago,
COVID was not a concern.
Because I'm like, this movie was shot, and then they changed it because didn't they shoot Secret Invasion after this movie, and then they like reshot Secret Invasion, because like Secret Invasion like went through like a whole 4 months of reshoots and changes.
I saw a theory online somewhere. Someone was saying there's like, you could tell Secret Invasion was supposed to be Captain Marvel 2, but they kind of rewrote it just as a Sam Jackson vehicle.
Because Brie Larson. Because of the Brie Larson issue.
But I'm sitting there thinking about it, like, we have this other Skrull body of colony of people that are now being sent to Earth, but they're going to New Asgard. And I'm kind of like, okay, what about the Skrulls that were already on Earth? That were like in Russia? Like it just feels disconnected instead of being connected with this tissue of like the Skrulls and their displacement in the galaxy.
They did make a comment in Secret Invasion about a colony, but that's as much as they actually gave it credit. So.
Okay, yeah. So filming began July 26, 2021. No excuse. No excuses.
I think if anything, that the shorter runtime helped this movie. If we had let this drag on a little bit, it could have been way more messy. I think more of the current MCU stuff could have done better with a shorter runtime. Looking at you, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Thor!
Or any Thor movie Thunder. In general. Yeah.
That movie boggles my mind because they filmed so much stuff, and I feel like there's alternate takes for every scene in that movie out there.
They gave Tika way too much freedom.
Oh, they did. And I swear there's probably a better, more serious edit of that film out there.
Oh, yeah, because he probably went 75% of his style on, Ragnarok, and then they're like, oh, yeah, go nuts on the next one.
It's like, I always think of like Tim Burton with Batman and Batman Returns. You have the first film with a director who pushes the envelope that's successful, and the studio's like, oh, cool. So our success is going to be give the director all the power. And then they come back with another one that doesn't, if it becomes divisive or whatever, Batman Returns, Wonder Woman 84. That's the nature of
Tika in his portfolio. If you look at his portfolio, look at Jojo Rabbit. I'm just saying, polarizing, divisive, not for everybody, right?
Right.
Like a lot of his stuff is like that. And it's just like you gave him the green light by letting him do this big blockbuster. And it happened to be successful because what could be worse than Thor: The Dark World?
Oh!
What you have to lose.
That's true.
And then people responded to it, and then, of course, they do what they do. It's the Flanderization of Thor. They're like, oh, people like this. No. Small doses, babes. Small doses.
Yeah,
and that's just what MCU can't figure out. It's like, oh, if it's a hit, let's just, overdose them on it. And here we are. The MCU-ification of the whole damn world.
This movie is the first movie that I said that you had to have watched WandaVision to get the Multiverse of Madness. And I still stand by that. But this movie, even more so, like if you hadn't watched Miss Marvel, you would really be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like there's really no like soft introduction for those who just watch the films. Like
again, we enter in Mez Ray, but like for an MCU movie, it was very light on exposition. Like I didn't feel the anvils as heavy as usual.
At least sometimes.
And it's like, babes, you're not that girl anymore where you just expect us to do all the legwork before. No, we need exposition, babes. There's still people who are not playing for Disney Plus, especially now. Now.
They could have given the more backstory on Miss Marvel because at least Monica, they're like, oh yeah, where'd you get powers? I walked through a witch hex and I got power. Yeah.
I mean, her character, especially, I mean, but I felt like because the cons were so much of the story, and of course how the post-credit scene of Miss Marvel is her and Captain Marvel switching places, that this really hit home with that I felt like this film just, like, if you hadn't watched that, they were just kind of basically like, screw you, like, you should have watched our TV.
Yep.
Like,
that's their attitude. I'm telling you, that is Disney's attitude. They feel like they're on top of the world. They can do no wrong, and they're going to take these nerds lunch money, and you're just going to sit back and take it.
And I just feel like this, I mean, I'm not trying to hate it, but it didn't, like I said, it didn't feel like as much like a film, but I did enjoy it. Like, it was fun to watch, but it was content. Like, it really felt more like I was watching kind of the Disney Plus show.
Yeah, they should have released this on Disney Plus. Like, I think it would have been more enjoyable for a lot of people if you could have just been actually scrolling through your phone and be able to pause it. You know what I mean? Like, like, I enjoyed it. Baby.
I had fun with it. The kids enjoyed it, but I feel like it's one of those. I watched it. I enjoyed it. It was cool, but it really left. Yeah, it left no lasting impression. Like, I had no like emotional arc. The only thing that I had an emotional reaction to was the mid-credit scene.
Yes, correct. And it's like, it's a shame that's all we're really watching MCU movies for now. It's like, oh, what's next? Because this phase ain't it. Okay, look, can we all be honest? This phase ain't it.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we're technically in phase 5 now, aren't we?
I call it 4.5, honestly.
I thought with like Ant-Man and stuff, we were
Ant-Man was the final phase 4, but like, this is definitely 4.5. I don't feel like it's a full phase 5 at all. Because it's like a soft launch or something. I don't know.
Because I thought that.
No, you're right. Ant-Man was the end of phase 4, but they never really said that this was phase 5 either. Like, we're kind of in this interim limbo, I feel like, because the numbers have been down for a while. And this is the bottom of the barrel where stockholders are going to demand justice at this point.
Well, I mean,
because it was on track for 85 million. They're like, no, 65 million. And it opens at 47, which is the lowest ever. So now it's like, well, MCU definitely isn't a bulletproof box office anymore. Well, there's no COVID excuses. There's no excuse for this movie to do bad outside of they should have waited. Because nobody was able. I think if they would have had the other two promote the show, like, not promote the movie, not Brie Larson, but the other two, like, it was during a strike, they really should have just held off.
Yeah, I mean, they already moved it once, so they lost that promotion. Like, because I remember going to McDonald's and seeing all the Marvel stuff, and the kids were like, "Daddy, is this movie out?" I'm like, no, they moved it. Which
now the toys are on sale now, like, clearance level.
It's another
like
example.
Eternals.
Yeah, it's another example of they move stuff that by the time the film comes out, all the merch and the stuff that helps hype the movie and make it an event is now in your discount bin.
But is that an MCU problem or is that a movie problem?
I mean,
as again,
they happened to Dune too, but
they were still number one. I mean, they only made 47
well,
million.
babes, it's not hard to do. What was even out?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Which is the whole point of them putting it here, and they're probably trying to hope for the Thanksgiving Day, that's gonna be like the last push is that Thanksgiving Day weekend. I think that's the whole point of putting it out. Which I would have just put it out Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, again, they were gonna extra long weekends. Yeah,
I mean they had the Veterans Day weekend, but I mean,
only 63 internationally.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, I think they need to go back to like 2 movies a year and make them events.
And then events, yes.
And spend the time developing the movie with all the stuff that we like, the characters, the story, to where we feel like we're getting a movie. Like, so to take a step back, like with Ant-Man, I'm just going to say it, Kang should have killed Ant-Man.
Instead of the other way around. It's like, that's what you're building your next phase villain on a guy we already saw get defeated, and is like having a hell of a time defending himself on Loki. Like,
I need to feel stakes again. Like, I haven't finished Loki season 2. Janine and I were waiting for it to finish, then we're just going to watch it all. So that's the only MCU thing I have not watched. Okay, but I need stakes in the movies again. Like, Ant-Man should have died. Kang, the story should have been about her wanting to go back to get her friend Kang, and it shouldn't have been like Kang was revealed to be evil till like the very end as he escapes out.
I mean, whether we're just battling 20 variants or whatever, I mean, supposedly we're working up the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, but I did see isn't Jonathan. I guess Jonathan Majors' trials coming up, and depending on.
Well, no, he's basically acquitted in the post because that girl got proven that she was a liar, and they filed charges on her. So he's in the clear, but it's a taint.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say because they have a backup plan. If things go bad with him, they're gonna. I guess supposedly they're gonna switch to Doom.
But, which I don't want Doom as a backup because
I don't want Doom before Fantastic Four.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I agree. I want to feel like if you're introducing Kang, you don't have him get killed by Ant-Man, even if he's a variant.
Yeah.
Like, you should have introduced a variant. Like, there's a reason why you put your big villain in Ant-Man 3, because honestly, nothing's driving Ant-Man 3.
Exactly.
Okay, so you had to build it up somehow. And if you would have put, I mean, how do you make your villain evil and people hate your villain? You have him kill off the nicest dude possible, which is Paul Rudd. So you have him kill Ant-Man, and then we set him up with stakes, and then I feel like we're back to having something with stakes. And even in this film, like, what are our stakes? You know, like,
and who really cares about the Kree and the Skrulls? Like, nobody. Though, I mean, that's why I just never been able to get into that whole portion of it. It's like, yeah, there's a million different alien races that infiltrate Earth all the time. Like, I don't care.
Here's what I don't understand. I was confused about the plot. So the Supreme Intelligence was keeping the sun on. So when she got rid of the Supreme Intelligence, the sun went out.
Yeah, but it seemed like that. Like, it killed their AI, the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah.
And their planet basically fell apart. They fell apart.
The sun went out because of that.
Yeah. Like, it sounds too contrived.
I'm like, make it make sense to me.
It sounds like it was AI generated, is what it sounds like to me. But that's none of my business.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, shout out. I mean,
it sounds like a very bad prompt.
I mean, at least in that 2-second shot, we got like a comic book accurate Supreme Intelligence. I mean, I like that, but it's like, explain to me how shutting down this AI shut down the sun.
It could have been something.
I'll go with some weak logic, but give me any.
Yeah, give me some hand wavy logic,
No, you're the nerds that are in the seat. We don't have to explain anything to you. We've got your money already. Hello. That's just what it feels like. That's what it's felt like for a while for me for watching MCU movies, the ones that I do watch. So
I feel like
welcome to the club.
The Skrulls, like, they should have done something where, and I'd have to sit down and put some energy into it. But like, I think they messed up by making Coulson come back as like Kree Tech or whatever it was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah, that thing kind of veered off into its own thing.
But I mean, like, could you imagine if Coulson came back and we found out the one that died was a Skrull or something the whole time? Like,
that's what Secret Invasion should have been. That's what the comic books were.
Right. I know. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, the Secret Invasion show was weak, because not only did it throw in like these characters, like, oh, they were a Skrull. When did they become a Skrull? How, like right now, my headcanon is that Everett Ross became a Skrull after the first Black Panther, because he felt like a douchebag in Black Panther 2. So I pretend like that's the Skrull, Ross.
Or it's like when did Rhodey become a Skrull? Which again, they need to play that up. It's like if he has been a Skrull since like at the end of Civil War.
Well, when he changed from Terrence Howard to freaking Don Cheadle, of course.
But I mean,
they need to play up that, if that was a Skrull when Tony Stark died, they need to play up, oh, hey, they robbed me of being there when my best friend died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, can a Skrull be paralyzed like that? Or like, do they have
it?
Faking, yeah, could be faking.
So I'm just like, that's why like I did not like Secret Invasion, because I feel like it was kind of pointless.
It should have been a movie. Sam Jackson deserved a movie.
Yeah, it should have been, because I feel like it would have been a better story.
Again, Sam Jackson, the movie star. If you give anyone a movie of their own, it's Sam Jackson.
But I feel like ever since they revealed what happened to his eye, it's been womp for that character.
I know, especially again in this movie. And if in this movie, if that's what happened to his eye, it's like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, that effing cat? You wouldn't want to go do that thing, would you?
No.
Instead of, oh, good kitty. Like, no, I'd be like, F you, no.
Well, first of all, it was an orange tabby. That's where he fucked up. Orange cat activities, if you know, you know. Like, it doesn't even have to be a flirkin. It's an orange cat. Stay away. Danger.
Let me ask you guys this question. I thought about this. So, their light powers were all intertangled, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't Gaia show up? Because technically she not only has Captain Marvel's light power, also she also has her DNA as part of her, of why she has her power.
Because the writers don't know that.
So like, wouldn't she have been entangled with them? Like that could have been something that happened,
It's my sweet summer child. We're lucky we got that they remember that any of these three characters are tangentially related. Okay, like we're
and that's
lucky.
the problem I feel like they're getting into. It's getting so big, and they're not sharing information enough that there's things that are getting overstepped and missed. And of what made Marvel so great was because you had that deep interconnection. And now we're like, wait, what? Why doesn't this work? Or why doesn't this work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I did like the performances. I mean, like of all.
I didn't like Brie Larson's performance. I'll be the
Brie,
first to
Brie
say it.
Larson.
It's okay.
Brie Larson wasn't bad. I mean,
She's a stiff scarecrow. I don't care what you say.
I mean, no. Normally I'd be on your side, but I mean, this time she made me forget for a couple minutes at a time that she's a complete a-hole. So
it doesn't have to. I just don't think she's a good actress. It doesn't even have to do with her personality. Outside.
Yeah.
Like compared to the other, like even Amani, I think was a great actress in this, even though they didn't give her really much to do. That's why they probably gave her that mid-credit scene or whatever. They're like, we really after character, so here, have this, and it's not to skip to the end, but it's too late to do Young Avengers. Nobody gives a shit.
I mean, I think she does a good job because I think this is like the first role she's ever done as Miss Marvel. She doesn't have anything else before.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
show. Great.
Oh, yeah.
I like her. Like it's like she was the heart of it, and it just
Young
I just felt they
Avengers-
didn't give her enough to do.
Young Avengers should be your Disney Plus property. Like it should
They
be.
can't make young people shows work. Look at Cloak and Dagger. Look at the Runaways. Like I am very worried for Young Avengers.
I'm just saying, like that should have been your. That should
That
be
should
like
have
your,
been this phase. Yeah.
the DC or not the DC, the Disney Plus, like
Verse.
goal. Like
Yeah,
Disney
like the
Plus-
Arrowverse, their TV version. Yeah.
right, like Disney Plus should have been about wrapping up stuff that we wanted to see, kind of like Captain America and Falcon and Hawkeye, WandaVision, and it should have been kind of that, and then we create their own kind of like universe on TV instead of kind of relying on you like to go to the TV show, check it out, then
Yep.
go to the movie. Like they should work together, but I shouldn't have to be like seeing.
It shouldn't be like
everything.
the board with the red strings trying to figure out what to watch, when, and how.
Yeah. Like if you miss something, you like, and I said like this movie is the best example of if you're not plugged in to the TV series, this movie, you don't know what's going on, who these
Even if
characters
you
are.
did, it's still again not very cohesive.
And again, it's like even if you want to get into it, like any newcomer is going to be discouraged.
Like
from
before
jumping in.
Endgame, right? It'd be like, okay, it's only like 10 movies. I can do it. Now, good luck. Have fun.
I mean, now we're approaching what 30 movies almost.
We're
and
over 30 movies.
shows. Yeah,
We're over 30 movies in the shows, and it's just they have
Not to
get
mention all the little side tie-ins here, there, and everywhere. Like, no, just not doable.
we got to get to a place where, like, the MCU can't go on forever because you how are you getting new people in? Like, wasn't Phase 4 was supposed to be about introducing new characters, but then we've done this stuff that we have nothing going for right now, and of course with COVID and the strikes and stuff, it's made everything be even more spread out. Because one of my biggest things is, like it or not, like how the Eternals happened, we have a half giant, what do you call it? Celestial popping out of the earth that nobody's talked about.
Oh, we'll get to that someday.
It's supposed to be, I guess, that's supposed to be part of the whole point of the Thunderbolts. Is that? But by the time we get there, like that's gonna be 2025. Like, when did Eternals come out? 2021, 2020. Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 20. So that's like 4 years. And I mean, with as much content as Marvel produces, 4 years between connected stories is a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they messed up by trying to flip the script on us and make the Skrulls kind of be these good guys.
Yeah.
But then we never spent time with the Skrulls. We got the quick wink of Talos and his wife in Spider-Man, and then we met them once, and then we throw them in Secret Invasion, and we're trying to build this whole back history, and then you have this group of Skrulls here. Like, it would have been better to have this and then have more of a Skrull civil war on Earth that was going on, and that was part of Secret Invasion. Is you had this group of Skrulls that were fine, and then you have this group of Skrulls who wanted to take over, and you have them starting to spread out. I mean,
yeah, Secret Invasion, it seemed like it was thrown together so quick. It's like there was so much stuff. I mean, they could have dived into all these relationships Nick Fury had, like with Talos. Nick Fury has a Skrull wife. What?
Yeah, and I mean, Secret Invasion was about Nick Fury actually being a bad guy in a sense, because he never did what he told the Skrulls he would do, because he used them for his own gain.
Mm-hmm.
Espionage.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and I feel like all that, because all that plays into the Marvels, but then like we're sitting here talking about it, and I'm like, well, it was fun while I was watching it. I enjoyed it. But what's the lasting impression? All right, Kamala is going to go start the Young Avengers.
And there's a tease for X-Men. Yay.
Mid credits, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I mean, no, that's what it boils down to, the mid and end credit scenes. Like, nobody, like, the actual movie itself is like.
And again, I have back to the Brie Larson thing. I think the other two kind of bolstered her. It's again, you're not doing her on her own in a movie no more. But
I mean, nobody does a movie by themselves.
She's definitely, especially like
Spider-Man.
Well,
obviously.
Spider-Man,
even then, they had to do Doctor Strange. So you're right.
I'm about to say nobody does a movie by himself. Like even Spider-Man 2, you threw in Nick Fury.
Oh yeah, in the second one, yeah.
And you had Spider-Man. And the first one you had Iron Man, and then the third one you have Doctor Strange and 2 other Spider-Men. Like no superhero does their own movie anymore.
No, because even Iron Man had War Machine for like this last.
Unless you're Morbius, because nobody wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
It's Morbius time.
That's a whole Sony thing, though. So,
but the Kamala like recruitment scene should have been the post-credit scene. It shouldn't have been the end of the movie. Like it should have been the post-credit scene to kind of echo the original post-credit scene with Nick Fury.
That's like
they kind of messed up. They're like, no. We're leaving that for the X-Men.
But I mean, like the X-Men should have been the mid, and then the post should have been Kamala, and not had it tagged at the end of the actual movie, because the actual movie that's the end of the actual movie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The X-Men. It was mid for me at the end.
Yeah. So I'm saying the X-Men should have been the mid credit, but then we didn't get a post credit scene. We got a sound effect of the cat throwing up.
Yeah.
But
it should have been the Kamala appearing to Kate Bishop.
Are we getting desperate? So we want to make sure people see, oh, hey, there's a Young Avengers coming.
I mean, I don't know.
But at this point, who really cares? Because honestly, I really do feel like they're about to reboot. They're going to reboot.
I mean, isn't that
they're under so much pressure?
I mean, isn't that kind of what Secret Wars can give you the opportunity to do?
They want to totally recast so that they can pay people dirt. They don't want to pay these big names anymore.
That's what I'm saying. You have Secret Wars. You get these variants that show up that are new, young, cheap actors, and then they're the ones that go forward after that.
Well, if we're rebooting, why are we? I mean, spoilers. I mean, why are we going to fold the X-Men stuff into everything?
We may not. It depends on how Deadpool 3 does, because there's controversy that might not be too good. So,
I mean, I heard, isn't that where they're going to start to fold stuff in? Is Deadpool 3?
It's tough to say, because they can hand wave and erase anything they want to.
Yeah, I thought they were going to fold everything.
Because poor New Mutants.
Oh God. Yeah, I thought
after the chat for New Mutants.
I thought they were going to start pulling everyone in Deadpool 3. Then by the time we get to Secret Wars, we're going to get like a true Secret Wars, like the comics, where it's like everybody.
That's wishful thinking. I would love to manifest that, but I have no hope.
All I'm saying is you're going to get Deadpool 3. It's going to touch on all the 20th Century Fox properties.
Oh, that's all it's going to be fourth wall breaking about that.
Yeah.
You know it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think we're going to get the X-Men kind of tease, but then I think if they're going to do this reboot, right? If that's something that's on their radar, you kind of soft reboot or whatever with the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And start
the best way to do it.
And you start building out a new MCU from the X-Men, something you haven't even touched really.
And Fantastic Four.
I was going to say, you start a new MCU with the Fantastic Four.
You should. You
Yes.
should, but I
But
mean,
let's be real. Let's be realistic about what those suits are going to do. It's X-Men. X-Men's always been the best selling. Well, not always, but it's been like, because they can't really do anything with Tom Holland's Spider-Man right now because that's still making movie. That's still bankable. But the X-Men, because Disney hasn't touched it, and the last like 3 movies were a disaster at Fox Century, yeah, they definitely want to reboot with X-Men.
I mean,
people
X-Men
are hungry for it. Like,
and
only
it's-
old people like us are hungry for Fantastic Four, Phil. Let's be honest about that. Fantastic Four is an old person's game. Like, I don't know anybody younger than 25 that's like, oh, clamoring for Fantastic Four.
Well, because they screwed them for how long? I mean,
Exactly.
they
So they're
canceled
like,
the 12th
X-Men, everybody knows. I mean, your grandma probably knows X-Men. That's what I'm saying.
It's also like you said, like all the X-Men stuff they've touched on and hinted at have all been just fan service to the Fox stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Logan, with Beast, you know, with Professor X, all of it have been service to that. So the idea of doing a
per
reboot,
Kevin Feige, because that's what he made his bones on too. So
right? But my thing is, if you're going to start over somewhere and you need something new that's going to sell, that's going to interest people that we haven't done anything with, you start with the X-Men because you haven't done your X-Men yet.
Wait,
You've only
is
just
that cartoon out yet?
no.
Oh.
I didn't think so. Okay. Okay.
And that's just continuing the animated series. It's just
I mean,
That's what I think. I think they're going to continue the Fox stuff. I think that
I
think they're just going to do it. They're just going to keep backing that truck up to Hugh Jackman, bro.
yeah, but I mean, Hugh Jackman, like he'll do this one, but then what? Like you can't keep going with Hugh Jackman. Like
You
it'll be-
can't, but they're going to try.
Well, if they're still on track, it's saying
Like they shouldn't. I feel okay. I'm gonna be real. I don't think this movie should have been made. I think The Marvels is a frivolous waste of cinema. Like,
I mean,
like,
what did
is.
what did it service? Like, what did it service in the overall story?
I think early on they had a plan. They're like, oh, we're gonna put have Miss Marvel's getting a show, so we're gonna combine her and Monica's gonna be in the show. We're gonna
Because
combine them all.
Captain Marvel didn't need a follow-up movie. Period.
Yeah.
This proves it. Like Monica Rambeau could have had her own TV show. Like, isn't she gonna show up in like Agatha Harkness's Coven of Chaos or whatever?
At this point, who knows at this? My thing is, at this point, it's just playing in the sandbox.
Yeah.
Like everything's still malleable because of how they shoot things and change things. I mean, they just shifted their entire slate to 2025.
Mhm.
So,
Well, yeah, most of it because Deadpool 3 is coming out in July now instead of early next year.
yeah,
so.
but Deadpool 3 and Joker 2 are like the only comic book films coming out.
Good.
In
I'm
2024.
sick of them. We need a break. I'm happy. That's the best news I've heard all day.
That's gonna be like our palate cleanser because then in 2025 now, it was
Oh my
supposed
god,
to
we're
be.
gonna be so sick.
Yeah, we're gonna get inundated with from Superman Legacy and the Batman 2 are still on track for 2025.
Captain
then-
America, the next Captain America movie. In
Supposed to be Captain America, the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, then Blade. Blade's supposed to be in
those
December
two movies are gonna
2020.
get so screwed, bro. Mark
I don't
my
think
words.
Blade will ever
Yeah, I don't think Blade's gonna see the light of day.
I have a pitch for Blade. And I don't know how they haven't been able to crack this story because I did it with my friend just kind of talking and just kind of like quickly came up with like a neat angle for how to do Blade. But seriously, like December of 2025, and they announced Mahershala Ali like in what 2019 as Blade.
It's giving Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Like Blade has been the first big blunder that the MCU is not as powerful as they think they are.
Well,
That
that's just what you might think. I've noticed it way before this.
Well,
but-
I mean, there's been little things here and there, but I mean, this has been the first time they've had a movie. They've like, oh, we're gonna do this movie, and they haven't been able to get it done. They haven't been able to get They had what 2 directors quit on them. They've
I
gone
mean,
through.
I know why. I can't say why, but I know why.
So
Like I said, I don't think Blade's gonna see the light of day personally, but
I mean,
we'll see.
I don't have my fingers crossed. I'm just like, that's what they announced. Okay, we'll see. That's
Hey,
kind of my whole thought process. We'll see.
But if they're still on track, the X-Men 97 cartoon is supposed to come out January 3rd. So
That's okay. That's what I thought. All right. So
I think
I'm thinking they're gonna go back to that 20th Century Fox because they almost have to at this point.
But I mean, if they do, like, who's the X-Men? Like, I saw people complaining they did Kelsey Grammer, Beast, and Mocap, and I'm like, yeah,
He's
you
like
don't
90.
he doesn't want to go through that process of doing the makeup and everything again. And if you want him, you just put him in Mocap.
And then is that why we're putting Hugh Jackman in the yellow suit? Because once that
this is what I'm telling you.
Once that mask
is
comes on,
down,
it's going to be a stunt guy. Yeah.
because he didn't want to get jacked like that again.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you listen to like his stories about how jacked he had to get for Wolverine, and like especially when he did the time period where he went from the Wolverine and then shot X-Men Days of Future Past basically back to back. He talked about just how he had to extend that regime. Like he don't want to go through all that again. So no,
he can't blame him.
He gets like, I mean, look at Robert Downey Jr. too. How fit he was in the first Iron Man.
Listen, he's always eating, so we can't expect too much.
I literally heard him say on an interview, once that face mask comes down, I'm on coffee break.
Yep.
But I mean, like, look in the first movie, like he is as Tony, he's jacked, like he's, and then as it goes on, he just is himself. Like he's not getting jacked. He's like, I'm wearing a suit. Like he's just like, I'm not gonna go through that.
They wanted. Well, the reason why they specifically made Robert Downey Jr. do this is we know, like, that was his comeback moment. He was still not bankable. Insurance was unsure. So they're like, we're going to get him on. Like, because when you're on a regimen like that, you can't think of anything else, right? You're just a rabbit with the carrot in front of you, just, running on that treadmill. And that just develops good habits. And it's like a move of good faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so once everybody was like rallied around him and he could do no wrong, he had more leeway to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally.
So that the specifics for RDJ, that's just something a little different because of the situation that he was in.
But I'm just saying,
once he was bankable, they were like, "Yeah, you can do whatever. Eat on set, we don't care. Be an asshole eating an apple, who cares?"
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Hugh's gonna not put himself through. He'll be like, "I'm fit enough. I'm wearing this suit. I'll put on the mask." And then, like you said, stunt guy.
I think actors should reject it. It's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, those stunt guys need.
To be like that extreme, like we're to the point where we all know they're doing PEDs. Like you can deny it, but it's clear, babes, you're over 30. It's like The Rock. Oh, he just keeps getting bigger and stronger. Oh, it's because he's black and Samoan. No, babes, it's because of PEDs. Let's be freaking serious. And that's just not healthy on the body, and you should not demand that of an actor. Like that's just crazy. That's like Christian Bale, the machinist levels of insanity. Okay, like stop doing that, please.
For real.
Oh, good for you.
So yeah, no, I just think that it's really funny because my friend goes, so what's your worst? Is this your worst MCU movie? I was like, oh no, Thor: The Dark World, still number 1 worst Marvel MCU movie, but
amen.
It might be a tie. It might be a tie.
Man, Thor: The Dark World like just makes like there's scenes in that I like, and there's performance moments that I like, but then like as a whole, I'm like, you just kind of blundered.
Somebody wasn't high enough. I'm gonna say it. Fine. I'm gonna be the one to say it. It's a 3-way tie. Eternals, Thor: The Dark World, and freaking this movie. It's a 3-way tie.
Oh no, I think this is
a race to the bottom, baby.
This is slightly better than those two. Come on.
No.
Oh.
I'm on the outside looking in. I can be objective about it. No.
I'm trying to be objective too, but I'm just saying.
You can't. The mouse has a hold on you. You might not have a shrine and an idol, but it has a hold on you, Phil. It has a hold on you.
Eternals should have been a TV series. That's the one property, like it, because it would have made
fan fiction.
But I mean, like it would have made more sense to if you're going to try to like.
It was too many heady ideas. I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you would have filtered that out through a TV series, and you could have got to know each Eternal more, and this idea that this is kind of a secret history of the Marvel universe that we didn't know, that would have been much better to do as a TV series. Then they appear somehow in the movies, like later on down the line or whatever.
I think they were afraid of it because of what happened to the Inhumans. They don't really want to. They just want to pull the Band-Aid off and get it over with. In that case, they knew, like I said, they knew it was a bad script. They just put it out there. I'm just gonna be real with you. Eternals is a bad script. It's literally a DCEU template of the worst kind, and you can't change my mind.
Oh no, Eternals is the most movie felt like a DC movie.
Yeah. And that's not a compliment.
It's just what it is. Like
that's the movie that needed an Avenger to show up.
I mean, it was the one that like felt
a
most
lot more
detached.
than just an Avenger.
Well, yeah, that. But I'm just saying, window dressing first step.
It's a shame because they had so many actors that I love, and I'm just like, oh, I guess
So
you gotta get your paycheck somehow. I'm not even mad at it.
My thing is like, this is kind of like the Marvels ends, and that's the MCU cinematic experience that you're left with in your mouth until
2025.
Basic, because I mean, like I've said this, like Deadpool is kind of tangential MCU because like he's supposed to be getting pulled into it or whatever, but at the same time, like he's not. When you think MCU, you're not thinking those movies.
When you say MCU, you think Iron Man, Avengers.
You're thinking of those characters.
Thinking Ruffalo, Hulk.
Yeah.
You know?
So, we're not, and then on TV, we're just getting Echo. And that's it till 2025.
F in the chat for Echo, y'all.
So
thanks for reminding our listeners about Echo, because I know I forgot.
I mean, I know she showed up in a show already, but I'm like,
did you guys watch the trailer?
No.
No.
I mean,
why are we doing Echo before like an Electra show or something?
I mean,
we're busy on Electra thing.
The only thing about Echo that looks interesting is its ties to Daredevil, to Kingpin, seeing Kingpin and seeing Daredevil.
Well, not Hawaiian shirt Kingpin. I'll pass on that. Thank you.
I mean,
I was gonna say we haven't in the live action. We haven't even seen Echo with Daredevil yet. Yeah, it's basically just with Hawaiian shirt.
So
Kingpin.
I'm just saying, if you watch the trailer, like it's Kingpin beats a dude to death with his bare hands.
You mean with his titties? You're welcome, Russell.
So
beat a man to death as you do, Hilo.
So it
relatable
is
content for me.
It is interesting, but yeah, I mean that's the palette that you're leaving people with for the MCU until 2025. So will
Tyler,
people be?
You act like they care. I promise you, the House of Mouse does not care. They know these nerds are gonna show up with their wallet wide open for the reaping. Okay, like it just is what it is. Until you change that relationship, until like most people learn to change their relationship with their consumerism and things like that, the companies know you're gonna show up regardless.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, will people be ready for the MCU in 2025, or
I don't think so. I think we're
starting to check out?
It.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, they're gonna leave us on this, and then when it comes back around, are we gonna be like, "Yay, Thunderbolts! Yay,
Thunderbolts!" That's not the movie they should come back on, but like
Captain America
for
4.
Nerds like Phil and freaking Ray, I guess.
I mean, like,
are you creaming your jeans for Thunderbolts, Phil?
It's not even like comic accurate Thunderbolt. Like
it's MCU comic accurate, Phil. That's what you have to remember.
That's all that matters.
I mean, they're coming out with a new Thunderbolts comic that's going to have like that lineup, but it's like they should have did like the original concept where it's like these villains pretending.
Give me Daddy Fatty.
Oh my.
But I mean, like Captain America 4, but it's Falcon.
Why does Captain America have 4 freaking movies?
I mean, because it's
Let
Falcon.
it be 3, like trilogies. Stop at trilogies, people. Quadrilogies don't work in a superhero format. I don't.
Well, I mean, it's going to be Anthony Mackie.
It's something. It
doesn't matter.
No, but it's not the same guy, though.
It doesn't matter.
It's
Don't call it Captain America.
I mean,
it's got baggage. Let's be real. Like when you say like Scream 4, Scream 5. That's why they started when they did the hard reboot. That's why they said Scream and then the year, because that's baggage. That's all that I'm saying.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm like, I'm just saying, like, will people show up for Captain America and like that?
Not for Anthony Mackie's Captain America, because we know what kind of America we actually live in. I'm just being real. Don't be mad at me for being real.
I mean,
they might as well made Bucky the show. Then that would have, you know what I'm saying. Don't make me.
I'm surprised they won't. I'm surprised they haven't like tried to do something where like, we're a couple years off now. Like come out with the unedited, retooled, original Falcon and Winter Soldier series. Because like that was re-edited crap because they had a whole subplot about a virus.
Yeah.
And that's like why like there's just beats of that show that don't work, is because they had to edit and cut out characters and subplots because it was all about a virus. And that's so I'm just like,
James, I was literally watching movies made during the pandemic about the pandemic. What the hell is your problem? You know what I mean? Like, no, literally, how many like horror movies came out that were like basically about coronavirus? Like,
I mean, they released the new Resident Evil like in what, 2021?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, literally 2020, we had like those independent horror like people, like the one where they're all on the video chat. That one. And then we had the one about the kid that like was like delivering like the vaccinations to the rich people, like literally made in the year 2020 during pandemic. Like, so like what is your problem? Like, but people aren't that. It's not a school shooting. It's a worldwide event that happened. Like what?
I think Disney's still kind of in a transition period where they're like, how gritty can we get?
You gotta grow the
expect
fuck
us to
up,
be?
man.
I know, but
They need to get back in their Miramax bag, okay? Like, I need Buena Vista Productions back in action.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, if it's the problem with the brand, yeah, to create like a imprint or something where you do all
like,
that.
babes, I'm a
It's called
literal
20th Century
original
Fox.
Yeah.
So,
I'm literally a freaking Disney Renaissance kid. I'm damn near 40, babes. I don't want to keep seeing this PG stuff. You got to grow up with your audience.
Well, tell them that.
I have.
And stop making all the movies into live action.
To say it too. Yeah, babes.
And stop making
that's
the
for
movies into live
copyright
action.
purposes only. That is not for artistic integrity. It's for copyright principles only.
Mm.
And that's a problem that they created themselves, so they can go ahead and rot with that.
Oh. Damn.
So the Marvels, right?
Yeah, it's this movie. I feel so bad, like, because I love 2 of the 3 actresses.
I just like my boil down is it just felt it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like just like a show where you're just having an adventure with these characters again.
You know what it felt like? An extended SNL skit. Like, I just couldn't believe that the things that were happening were actually happening. I'm like, are you serious? This is so nonsensical. It's like I just wanted somebody to yell, "Needs more cowbell," and then it would all made sense.
Oh,
it feels like it was the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Miss Marvel. Like, that's what this should have been.
Oh.
Was just Miss Marvel season 2.
It would have been more palatable if it was a TV show, to be honest.
If you would have edited this into Miss Marvel
6 episodes.
Not even that, just make it like 3. It's only an hour and 45 minutes.
You know, do the Quibi thing. Well, you know, Quibi's bankrupt, but still, just do the Quibi thing. Just cut it up until you can't cut it up anymore.
10-minute episodes? No thanks. Just make what 35 minutes.
Listen, this might be controversial,
episodes.
But they should have killed Brie Larson's character. I'm sorry, they should.
Oh, Wolf was
that would have drove everybody. I bet you would have made it to 85 million then.
Oh,
I
are you
bet
talking
you money.
Lilith? Excuse me. Are you talking stakes?
Yeah, I'm talking stakes.
Like, she should have done something where she basically had to
something.
She should have had to expend all of her power and basically combust herself to restart the sun.
Now we're gonna let the black woman sacrifice herself.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like it should have been Monica can do her thing, because that kind of opens up that she's got her own thing in another universe. But basically, Captain Marvel should have had to basically explode herself, creating the power to restart the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was. Like, she died birthing their new son. And then, you know, that would have given some sort of stake and some sort of ending to these characters, because that's my problem, is none of these characters have endings except for Iron Man right now. And everybody just wants to keep going. And, you know, that's not good dramatic storytelling, because then it just becomes there's nothing.
It's the Gen Z-ification of everything, where nothing can have stakes because it's so scary and it might trigger somebody.
Mm.
Oh my god! I sound like I belong on Rumble. I am so sorry, y'all. I sound like the people South Park was making fun of. I'm so sorry, but I'm so serious. That's what it feels like. Like, nothing can have stakes because it might trigger somebody at this point. Like I said, there's no nudity, there's no side boob anymore. Like, Jesus, as a 90s kid, I am dying at the theater, bro. I can't take this new school of cinema. I just can't. I can't. It's why I keep rewatching all my old stuff.
It's also like, I don't know, like, I've been just watching TV and different things, like the way the camera works and the editing. I point out things to my wife. We were watching something. I'm like, you know, a lot of times the camera work helps establish space. So when your characters are interacting in a room and you're cutting from different angles, you have a sense of where your character is and what they're doing. But some of these editings, this character moved, I had no idea where they were, and then all of a sudden they're getting attacked. I'm like, where did they come from? The wall? Because I had no sense of what was going on.
They came from the green screen behind themselves. Okay.
Because just it feels like, you know, the caliber of people that are filming and editing are just.
We're losing recipes, Tyler. Yes, we are. It's been a very people roasted Scorsese for saying so, but he was right. And now people are trying to say, "Oh no, he was actually right." Oh no. I love being out on a limb by myself. When I tell you something's bad or somebody's bad, I'll wait the year and a half for you guys to catch up. It's no problem. But I totally agree with Scorsese, and now you guys are seeing the full ramifications of it all.
I mean, I'm just agreeing with you.
I know. I'm just saying, like everybody else, I was like, oh, he's just old because he's just old and grumpy because they won't hire him. I'm like, babes, he's out there making The Irishman, doing whatever the hell he wants, having fun with the people that he loves, making movies.
He doesn't need to be hired. Like he just does it because
my point.
he wants
people
to.
thought he was bitter. I'm like, no, he is an artiste.
I mean, he recognized the quality and like, it's like any other thing. Like digital technology is a tool, but now we're becoming so reliant on it that the artistry of actually making the movie is more about just cutting and pasting with digital technology.
Well, again,
I remember the first time I noticed it. It's that Antonio Banderas movie where it's the scene in the church where they had to digitally enter the bullets, and you can literally still see him making the sound because he wasn't used to like not actually being able to pull the trigger and see the blanks go off.
Was that X versus Sever?
Oh, I think it was. Or it was one of the, or maybe it was not Once Upon a Mexico, but the one where the trilogy where he's like the assassin.
Oh,
with Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah, it would have been Once Upon a Mexico. Because that was like 2003 or 4, early 2000s when that one.
Yeah.
I remember watching the behind the scenes with that with Rodriguez. He still used squibs and stuff, but yeah, that's when they started using more digital tech to replace bullets and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I just remember that like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem. Because he was like one of the last people to still do practical, like on a very serious level, and like we're losing recipes, like I said, and it just starts to show more and more. The older I get, the more I'm just like, ooh, what happened to practical effects? Because this doesn't look good digitally. Well, it's like Chucky. If you watch the show Chucky on USA, you see what I'm talking about. Like compared to like the movies where they were using the animatronics and now they're kind of like blending animatronics and the digital stuff, you can totally tell. And it takes me out every time when they use the digital stuff as opposed to the animatronics. Like the face, the hands, it's just it's uncanny valley, and I hate it. I hate it so much. And yeah, this seems so digitally edited. It just, the more digital, the more you lean into it, the more artificial it feels, and it's harder for like the audience, or at least for me, to get sucked into it. And that's just been my problem with the MCU since probably Endgame. It just, you can just tell that it's just like the Mandalorian effect. Everything's just a big green screen room.
At least the Mandalorian was using that other tech.
Yeah, they used it well, but it's still, you can still notice it, and sometimes it does. When I do notice, it takes me out. So it's just like, I guess the people that grew up with it, it doesn't bother them as much, but
because they don't know what they're looking for. We have a sense of what to look for. So
again, I mean, it's just the studios cheaping out anymore.
I mean, they could have, if they're going to cheap out on everything else, they could at least came up with a better plot. And this is a problem. This is no shade to Nia DaCosta or whatever, but like, I feel like none of them actually read a comic book. And I think that's why Zeb Wells was like there allegedly, but I don't think his influence helped at all either. I think it made it worse.
Oh, that's right. He was supposed to be a part of this, wasn't he? Oh, I blame Zeb Wells.
There we go, Phil. I gave you your segue. But no, I just feel like there was no, like, I don't think these, like, because they are basing it so heavily on like everything that's happened in the MCU that is so far removed from the actual comic book characters to a very strong detriment of the plot.
Yeah. Because like I said,
really
now
wrong with the plot.
Now you're not, now like, you said about the Thunderbolts, Phil, was like, yeah, now it's not the comic accurate Thunderbolts. It's the MCU's version of the lore and the characters are.
And again, it's just guys like Bucky, and Red Guardian and stuff. It's basically just like a bunch of like soldiers and stuff. It's like
whoever we introduce that we can use. That's what's going to be wrong with the Young Avengers. It's like they're going to try to shove Riri Williams in it, and that's fine. But it's like, they already have Cassie. Like, they're both Ant-Man. Let's just be real. I mean, they're both Iron Man. Yeah. They both have suits.
It's all. I mean, but it's all women too, except unless they're
going to do Hulk's son. I guarantee you.
Hulk's son, and then maybe depending on how they do it, they could do young T'Challa.
I was going to say they're going to do Elijah Bradley from the Winter Falcon.
Yeah, Falcon
show.
Winter Soldier.
They're going to definitely, because gotta have a black guy.
Son, yeah.
Gotta have a black guy. So.
And I mean, if we play with the multiverse, we could bring in Wanda's kids too.
I mean, if you play the multiverse, it's my problem with the multiverse stuff is then it becomes hand wavy where nothing has stakes and no one is.
Well, that's been the problem since Multiverse of Madness, right? That's the whole thing. It's like, oh, what if did so good? Let's lean fully into it. And it's like, ooh, you missed the point.
Yeah. The only reason I say Wanda's kids because in the comics they were a part of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but Phil, we're not talking about comics.
Oh, that's true.
We've tossed those out now. We just do what we want.
And don't say these directors don't read the comics. They read the 2 or 3 comics the studio sends them. Come on.
Yeah, they have a studio person.
Oh wait, they read the wiki. They don't even do that. They read the wiki.
They have a studio person draw a comic with stick figures of the script and hand them that. Like, this is the comic.
That's their storyboard. That's it. I love it. Headcanon. Headcanon accepted.
No, they were saving money. They had Amon Villani right or draw the do all this.
You know what we need? We need the guy from Ant-Man just to just recap. We don't even need movies anymore. Just this is what happened.
We didn't even get Louise in 3. I know. What's up with that?
Like,
that's just what we need. It's like, okay, here's what happened. They don't even have to. That way they can save money. He's just telling us a story, kind of like the Deadpool Christmas special. We're just all sitting on his lap, and he's just reading us the story that happened. There you go.
I mean, it's not the problem. Is like when we came back from the theater and we were like, Jania's like, "How was it?" Like, it was fine. It was good. We had a good time. But it was like, what was in it that was like worth discussing?
Does it even make you like, okay, if they come out with a new movie, it's like, okay, but why would they come out with a new movie? What's the point of them having another movie with all 3 of them in it,
There's not.
Exactly. Like, so you just killed your franchise. I mean, rightly so, because I was so sick of Brie Larson. And they were too. So I get it, but it's just like kind of just.
That's why she should have. That's what I'm saying. She should have blown up starting the sun.
I'm telling you, if they would have done that, they would have got people in seats.
That was my full thing. I was like, I know it was probably a bigger feat.
That's what I asked Phil. He's like, have you seen it yet? I kept putting it off. I was like, did she die? And when he told me she didn't die, I'm like, all right, fine, whatever.
I know it's a bigger task, but why does Monica get like stranded in another universe? And
Because she's the black woman.
Like, right,
if we're being honest.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at least this way. I
find her more of an interesting character.
Oh yeah. I wonder if she's going to be in Deadpool 3.
Nah.
No, even it's
isn't Zazie Beetz back? I think we're only allowed to have one black woman at a time.
But I'm just saying,
is that the rule?
Monica's in that universe. Are we going to see Monica at least for?
Is she in that universe, Phil? Because my thing with me and my friend were talking. I was like,
more than one X-Men universe.
Yeah,
I'm like, there has to be. If you're gonna wrap in the Fox stuff, just looking at the Fox stuff, X-Men
there's
Origins,
3 different. Yeah,
X-Men Origins Wolverine has to be its own universe. X-Men 1 through 1, 2, 3, The Wolverine, and Days of Future Past has to be on one Earth. Logan is on its own Earth.
Yep, and then whatever the hell they did with like New Mutants and Apocalypse
and then like
and all that.
You can just pretend like First Class, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix are on their own Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like. I'm just saying.
Actually, Days of Future.
Because
it's kind of like they're both like it's like a split. That's where the split happens.
But like you can just say that Days of Future Past kind of fuddles. Like they're just like they're really close together. Their Earths are, so that's why there's some. But yeah, like the X-Men, there's so many inconsistencies. Once you open the multiverse, you just start throwing every film into a different Earth.
Yeah,
you're like that's a different reality. Whatever.
Come on, Ryan.
It's great to see her. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Tiana, but I just don't have it. Like it's still very contrived and it's still very restrictive. And, I really don't agree with like the whole DEI, diversity, equality initiative. It's like, cause it's like South Park says, it's forced. Like I want it to be natural. I want you to actually be passionate about a character, not just look around through the book. What black lady can we grab? Okay, her. Okay, what Asian guy can we grab? Okay, him. And just force it and make it work. Cause that's exactly what, anytime when they deviate from the comic and they're just like putting people in for the sake of putting people in, it's a disservice. It's like, you're just trying to grab my money and I see you and I don't like it. And that's where I ride the high 7 C's.
All right. You reminded me of something. My one big problem with this, and again, there's a time and place for this. It works sometimes, but not everything in pop culture and fiction needs a musical number.
Look at you, Star Trek Station.
they try to be funny with their whole like they only speak in song.
Yeah,
but it was if they had tied it more into if they had spent the time to develop like that culture of that planet, maybe they were the ones that had created the Bengals, and actually Kamala's like descendant was from that planet or something, or like that culture was on Earth and something like that, and that's where like you guys watch Battlestar Galactica, the remake series. You know how like the part of the whole point was at the end of the series is the people of Galactica settled on Earth and they split up across the globe. And that's kind of where you started your people groups. And I'm like, if they had done something like that way back with like the Eternals, where like the idea is the Eternals came here prehistorically stop the deviants, and then humans came, and then they like each Eternal spread out and started their own kind of culture and history. Like it made sense for that group to be as diverse as it was, because then they each kind of brought something to the planet, to the Earth. It could have made sense. And if you would have done something like that, maybe with this planet with Kamala's heritage, because I mean, basically it was a Bollywood number.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was watered down Bollywood style. And it just, I think it could have made it a little bit more of bringing this whole world, feeling this universe of Marvel connected, of why that this is going on.
Force things that they don't really understand, but they think, and like, oh, this will be cool. Like they're not gonna think too much about it. It's just cool, man. Rule the cool. That is what the MCU is based on at this point, and you can't change my mind. And it's not so cool as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. My grade is dropping. I'm remembering all this stuff now. The musical number. I was like, really, we need another one of these. And again, those bangles are supposed to be the quantum bands. Ugh.
I know. Phil's heart ached on that one.
I needed a damn quasar, and we're not going to kill one now because
you got Marvel, even though it's not really Marvel from the first movie, right?
I mean, it wasn't the. It wasn't Marvel, and they didn't, and whoever the character was didn't have no nega bands. I don't.
Careful there, Phil.
What? I'm just saying.
So, what's your grade? Because you're probably going to be the most positive grade.
I'll give it a very generous.
A gentleman's
B-.
Okay.
I'm giving it a C. It's just very like common. Like, okay, it was cool. I'm out. Like, no staying power. Yeah, I don't, there's nothing that stuck with me that I was like thinking about more and more afterwards. Like it was safe.
I'll follow up with, I'm going to give it a generous C as in cat minus.
Ooh.
And only because Tiana and Amani like performances were so good, and I was really invested. And it's just a shame that, you know, I don't think that those two characters are going. I don't think Young Avengers is going to see the light of day. I think that the MCU is going to dissolve before that. But if it doesn't, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what those two do.
Yes.
Not you, Brie Larson. Go away. Go away now.
I mean, maybe that's the whole reason we didn't kill her off. We didn't want to give her a heroic death.
If they had given me stakes and given me something to it, it would have been better. But it's just really content. It's the next thing.
It's fluff.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't really feel like a movie.
Well, if this is when we need the Charlie puppet. Whoa, I assured it.
Like
I mean, it's enjoyable enough if you like. This is literally
if you don't think,
a movie where you don't think.
If you don't think, yeah.
It was like it was not as bad, but it was approaching that when they released the first episodes of the Inhumans in IMAX.
Nothing is that bad.
Did you guys remember when they released it in IMAX in theaters for like 2
I
weeks?
saw it in IMAX.
I was working at the theater part-time. This was a second job. And I remember walking in and like watching part of it, like, this is horrible. Like
this is bad and they should feel bad.
The Inhumans was so bad. It was I think the only Marvel property that Charlie Esser did not finish.
Yeah.
I watched that first, whatever.
And he literally had a Mickey
2
Mouse
episodes or whatever. And that was it.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I hated myself at that point because I watched the whole thing, but I felt cheap and dirty at the end.
I mean,
as you should.
I'm like it's kind of like I'm a DC completist, right? But there's still 2 series. One, I have to watch the last.
Better
episode.
not say Legends of Tomorrow. We're fighting.
No. I guess Powerless.
Okay, I forgot about Powerless because I got to finish that because that one was hard to find. So, yeah. So, Legends, I just have to watch the last season. I'll get around to it. Once Brandon Routh left, I just wasn't as invested.
They leave it on a cliffhanger, so just take your time.
Yeah.
That's what
Flash doesn't even wrap it up, so.
So that's what everyone said. So I'm just like, I don't know. Once Brandon left, I just wasn't as invested anymore. I gotta finish that last season.
And then leave it there. Leave it there.
And then I forgot about Powerless because it was for a long time. Like
it was on NBC. Yeah.
You couldn't find it though. Like it wasn't streaming. And then didn't they bring it somewhere to stream?
Would it be on Peacock? Because it was on NBC, right?
Yeah, it was. I'm checking. But The one is Naomi. Like I watched the pilot and it was
Oh.
so bad. I was like, I can't do this. No, Powerless is not streaming anywhere right now.
Why would it?
Yikes. Oh, Naomi, yeah, I don't blame you on that one.
I was just like, and I'm usually the one who's like, oh, I'll at least finish it.
It was too convoluted. Like when they brought up Superman in the very first episode, and it was like she's a blog, she has a fan blog. Like it was just dumb.
And it moved too slow. And
they didn't at least let Brian write. I mean, I understand why they didn't let Bendis write, but they didn't let Brian write. Are you?
Or David Walker.
Oh yeah, David.
Yeah.
Anybody good. It was all just typical CW stuff, so it's just like whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't blame you. Don't feel bad. But yeah, I don't know. I hope I'd hate to be a hater. Not really. I love to be a contrarian, but I think that I want the MCU to be done. I need cinema to recover from this. And I think this is good steps, showing that, just because it's part of an extended universe, that it's guaranteed to win.
It showed that they could do it. It showed that there's power in it. But no one else has really been able to duplicate it and make it work. So many people have tried.
Well, they're not Disney. Like Disney, it's much like when they launched Disney Plus. They did it at a loss, even like a greater loss than what Netflix ever did in its first few years. It's just not sustainable. It was never sustainable. Like the money that they threw into the TV shows, like they looked like movie quality, and that was to a detriment, as we learned. Like, you need a distinction between TV and movie. It's there for a reason. For budget. For just the sake of your shareholders or something.
Yeah.
That's all. So they just thought that they were a powerhouse and they could do what they want. And they're just kind of learning the lessons now. It's like, well, people were sick of you, kind of.
My thing was Disney, like, they make their money back in merchandising. And even with that, like we talked about earlier, you have these properties come out. And now, like, if I go watch so like Sayla was like hooked on the Marvels, right? And she wanted a shirt and toys. You can't find them. Yeah, they're already gone.
You're giving the resellers money at that point. They've been holding on to it. The minute it hit the discount bins, the resellers grabbed them, and they're waiting for this movie to come. They're like, some schmuck's gonna buy it. Some schmuck is gonna buy it at 3 times the price.
You could still grab Eternals toy 2 years later.
I know.
FYE is like.
No, I've seen them in like to Walmart and Target, Lilith. I mean,
yeah, I still see them at Walmart and Target, like in the discount aisles. Like,
what I see? I see that stupid Earth Day, like Hawkeye. It's a bunch of stuff in my Walmart. I'm just like, why is this still here? It's been here for 2 years. Get rid of it. Use the SKU number for something else. Get it out of here.
All right, are we about wrapped up?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, let's get out of here. All right, thank you, kids.
Send in your thoughts.
Send in your thoughts and
suckers. If you went to go see this movie, you're a sucker. To paraphrase the Simpsons movie.
And Tyler, if you want to join us, Lilith, probably in December we're gonna do Aquaman, right?
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
Well, I mean, you know what'll be interesting? Okay, if you think about this, Captain Marvel, the first one, made $1 billion. And now look at the sequel.
Yeah, but
Aquaman made $1 billion. We'll see what happens with the sequel.
Yeah, but the thing with the first Captain Marvel, it was sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame.
And they made the nerd say, "Hey, this is really important. You have to see it," even though it was a fucking lie.
I mean, they were
because they did that whole Sam Jackson beeper scene at the end of Infinity Wars. They're like, "Oh, yeah, what is this? Oh, we're gonna check out Captain Marvel." Yeah,
but they knew what they were like. They were pumping it, like they had.
Yeah, Aquaman did it on its own though, just out of sheerly being one of the best DC movies, which is not hard to do. The bar is in hell, but still, it did it on its own validity at least.
I mean, we might as well do an Aquaman review, Lilith. I mean, there's going to be few and far between for them in 2024.
2024 is going to be a nice palate cleanser.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so sick of superheroes at this point. I want to get back to real movies. Like, even Dune was like supposed to be the return to cinema. Oppenheimer was supposed to be a return to cinema. That kind of, if it wasn't for the Barbenheimer thing, Oppenheimer would have flopped. You can quote me on that. So I'm ready to get back to real cinema.
All right. Yes. All right. So send us your thoughts on this movie, and again, we'll reconvene for Aquaman. So send us your thoughts, and again, along the way, we'll have interviews and stuff. So email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise, the Patreon. Speaking of multiverses, you'll find a multiverse of Lilith Hellfires there. Drunken Lilith Hellfire.
That's the variant I want.
Oh, there's so many variants of Lilith Hellfires there. So find everything at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. Internet Granny, where can people find you? Because you're not a lot of this anymore.
You know, I'm a crotchety old granny. If you want to hang out with me on the interwebs, you can find me on Facebook, Lilith Hellfire, or if you're on Threads or Insta, you can find me at your favorite internet granny, GRANNIE. Duh.
Come on, get your head out of your butt, buddy.
All right, Mr. Oh my! All right, Mr. Tyler Patrick, you usually talk a lot of DC. Where can people hear you talk?
Yeah, I do take a lot of DC on the Krypton Report. It was nice to come and just talk Marvel because, you know, I like comics, period. So just find us on Krypton Report anywhere, on all social media platforms. I think I got some sort of presence on all of them.
I heard you do another Superman podcast too.
Yes, twice a month. What's up with that? Yeah.
There's this other podcast I do. We talk about Superman. You know, when he had we're building up to the greatest event in Superman's history.
The mullet.
The creation of his mullet. So we're getting there. It's a hard traveling road. But we'll be there soon. And the locks will run free like the falls of Aspen, Colorado.
Yes,
this is in the front, party in the back. All right.
Me, Tyler, and our good friend the Owl himself.
My favorite biscuit.
Some would say it's a hootin' good time.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. All right. Get ready to say ampersand, Tyler. All right. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us for another week, for another movie. We have been your Capes. Hit it, Tyler.
And Lunatics.
No, ampersand.
Ampersand.
Lunatics. We'll work on it.
My bad.
We'll work on it.
I'm gonna train another one.
I'm trying to find Lilith on Threads. Like it's just a lot to type.
It is. That's the point.
I think I found her.
I know. Why don't you just make it a little longer, Lil? Your favorite internet granny who likes to smoke and drink.
But everything's spelled with an extra P and an H.
Your favorite internet granny who likes to smoke and drink. 69.
69 spelled out. _9.
All right. Thank you for joining us, kids.
Higher, faster, further, my ass.
Don't get eaten by a flurkin.